Okay, so hi, TV land people. I just get so happy when I'm recording something. I'm funny. So I'm Tiera St. Clair, and this is Philippe Andre Coquet, who is quite the coquette. And is that how you pronounce your last
Am
name?
I? It
Yes.
is actually, and
Yes.
intentionally because the French pronunciation is actually coquet.
Uh-huh.
But when I was trying to get work as an actor, I had a casting director tell me I better use coquette because it was people would remember it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love that for you because you're so enchanting. There's something coquettish about you that's really delightful.
Yeah,
Um, we've
I
been
tend to be a
talking
flirt.
about, huh?
I tend to be a flirt, which is one of
Yeah,
the reasons.
yeah.
Yeah,
And justifiably, you're in 1949. So I'm a 19. So flirtation is part of the deal. It's an interesting thing because I'm very flirtatious, but I'm not flirtatious for sex at all. I actually get very,
right.
very shy if I'm attracted to someone, but I am flirtatious for resources. I'll flirt to get, a refill on my coffee or, some silly thing.
Right. I'm the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't, I get very shy when I'm interested in somebody. I don't,
Uh-huh.
but I love to, flirt on stage or
Right. Right.
yeah, different places. I'm a master at the flirtation. Even
And I love the
with clients.
attention. We both have an open throat too. So, when you flirt, you're getting really good attention also. And you have a second line body, which can be a super shy body. And I have color two and tone two in my PHS. So that's my body. So we have all these twos that are like,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm bold, but usually I'm shy.
Yeah. There's something interesting about, I think flirtation also as an art form is about shyness to a degree because it's kind of like,
Oh, yeah,
it's
and
not
that's
coming
the
out and
coquette.
it's
Yeah,
not coming out and saying, I want you,
right.
come to my bed. It's more like, hi, what's your name? It's like
Uh-huh,
it's a
uh-huh, uh-huh.
it's
I was
batting the
watching
eyelashes.
I was watching Big Bang Theory last night, and this scientist is talking to Leonard. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but she's like this dry, cut and dried scientist, and she's coming up to him and saying, "So I think we should have sex, and I think I should come over to your house, and I think that you should make some food for me. But you're the guy, so you should take charge of this whole thing." After she's told him everything to do, and this is probably she goes, "So call me."
That's funny.
I actually like the juxtaposition of that.
Yeah, yeah. That is funny. I definitely have a thing because but also we both have the 59-1,
Yeah,
which is the preemptive strike, which zeroes in on what it wants and knows it can break the boundary,
that's right.
make
That's right.
intimacy happen. So it's kind of both, we have both, we both have this shy stuff
Yeah,
going on, but
exactly.
we've also got this thing that goes, and people are
Yeah.
like, you're penetrating me.
It's such an interesting thing for me because I don't have a home and I travel pretty much all the time. And um, I'm not really interested in like making friends in places because I'm quite interested only in very, very few topics of conversation: human design, the Camino, or sex. And that's pretty much it. And you don't really necessarily talk about those things on first meeting, maybe the Camino and human design. Um, but I'm also a 59-6, and I have this this need in me to have this intimate interaction with people. And
Yeah,
what I find is that it can happen in a second. It can be an eye contact as I'm moving along the street. It can be a smile. It can be a little flirtation with someone who's giving me my coffee. And it
right.
fulfills that
Is that the
energetic.
one night stand?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Well,
one
I
I,
have the 59.1, I have the
yeah,
59.6, and I
yeah,
have the gate 6. So I have the whole
right.
channel, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah, that is great. I love that one night stand, all the different way. It can just be a moment stand,
yeah.
like
Yeah, a one moment stand. When I first saw that, you know, one night stand, my first and continuing response to that is, well, what's wrong with that? Because if you have one night and you don't want it, why would you want any more?
oh,
Like
exactly.
one night
Yeah,
stand is
yeah.
perfect because then you
Well, not
find
only
out.
that, but a one night stand also can be completely satisfying as it is, and it can be ruined with anything more.
That's right.
Those things, those I've had those experiences where I know that this is the ultimate thing that could happen between me and this person. It was just
Mm,
magical, perfect. And I'm like, That's good. Good. I'm good." Because otherwise it's going to turn into something else.
right, right. And it's so interesting, the 59 line 6, the keynotes are sympathy, apathy. And I find more apathy these days than sympathy. And
Mhm.
when it's like the one night stand person, as I understand it, is looking for their soulmate, right?
Oh.
And so the 59.6 is in my body, the
Yeah.
59.1 is in my personality.
Mm.
So my body is looking for her soulmate, but more and more we don't actually think it's going to happen
Mm.
because it's like not really interested in much that's out there, except for maybe a one night stand. I don't mind that whole idea. But
Mm.
yeah, I don't really enjoy the apathy though. I like it better when I feel hopeful that something might come my way. That's actually a better deal, which leads me to the whole thing of hope, which is your motivation. And one of the things that's been so interesting to me as I've gone through this, I think I'm almost 14 years in design now, is seeing I have so many people in my life that are motivation hope. And at first I was like, why? Yeah, hope is nice. I mean, that's always a nice thing, but why? There's got to be some mechanic about this. And what finally dawned on me when I started looking at color resonance, which is a whole course that I've been into now for a long time, is that wherever you have a certain number in a color and someone else has that number, there's a resonance and there's like a support for whatever that is. And so, with all the twos that I have in my body, when I meet someone with a two in their personality, my body feels hopeful. My body
Mm.
feels
Mm.
uplifted in a
Mm.
sense.
Mm.
Um, and I love you people.
Well, your motivation is
My motivation is number one, it's fear. Get to
that's
the
what I thought.
bottom. Get
So
to
I
the
have, a fair amount of people in my life who have that.
Yeah, that's
And I
true.
think it's because I feel secure.
Uh-huh.
There's something about it because, in many ways, with my totally open G center, I'm basically just a tumbleweed in the wind. Left to my own devices. I'm just like floating around from one thing to the other. I don't have, and not much strategy in my variables. So I'm I, it's nice to have those things taken care of. You know,
Mm.
bottom line taken care of. Somebody who's
Mm.
so I feel that feels good for me as well. And I also have I have a fair amount of first lines
Yeah,
in
well,
my,
there we go.
which
Yeah.
is something I didn't know before because I don't have any. I mean, I don't have first line. I have first
Colors
lines in my colors. Yeah, color and yeah. So and underneath the stuffs
underneath the line. Yeah.
because the lines, yeah, I don't have too many ones at all.
Yeah. So let's talk about this motivation of hope and how you experience that. Like as I understand it, there's this ineffable radar that can tune into what's coming on the wind, so to speak. And so it's not this ungrounded la 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 Pollyanna hope, like everything is good, everything is good. It's not that at all. It's actually very grounded in an awareness of what's possible and coming towards, so that you don't have to fix anything, so you don't have to make anything happen. You just know what to remain hopeful for. How do you experience that in your life? Do you have any, can you tell us anything?
Well, it's weird because also with emotional definition,
Yeah.
the experience, the experience is, up and down the wave. So I find, there's often a relationship to that where if I'm on the low wave, I tend to, I don't know. Now I'm feeling confused, trying to figure it out. But I the I mean, the one way that I've described it is this idea that I know that humanity and the world and the whole story of it all is designed for success. That's the way I look at it. It's actually designed for success, and it always has been. We always move towards success. So people go into the doom and gloom of where we're going and the possibilities of doom and gloom. That doesn't. I've never bought that. Like on some level, I'm like, no, what's happening is what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Some
I've always
awareness
been
that
that too.
I kind of have a trust in the way that it's going, even though it looks horrible, and I also have an awareness that people have been saying the doom and gloom ever since the beginning, so that's for some reason
That's right.
something that humans are attracted to, is to be like, oh, it's the end of the world. So I think that there's a hope there, meaning that for me everything is open-ended. It's not
Right. It's not boxed into, this is probably going to.
right. Yeah. The possibility thing, like,
Right.
I'm more interested in, I read a lot of history. I've always loved history since I was a kid. And I think um, one of the things when you read history is that there's evolution, whether it's evolution of the species or evolution of civilization or consciousness or art or everything is
Right.
changing and new. It's always new. There's always new. There's
Mm,
always newness consistently, and there's also consistency. So in nature, the flowers come up every year. The plants get green it just happens. The cycles of life happen all the time. They're not stopping. So some things die out, but that's also so new things can emerge.
right.
And so, I mean, that's how it fits in with my life, you know, my incarnation course.
Cosmological
Well,
view.
but yeah, um, hmm,
One of the things with hope people is that when you get into transference, you try to fix things. And what I have noticed with a lot of hope people is that you can be quite good at fixing things.
yeah,
It doesn't mean you should be.
No, no, no. And
Like
that's
most Hope
kind of
people
hard.
I know are actually very skilled at doing that. And you were talking before we started the recording, Philippe, about you're the incarnation cross of cycles, and it's all about the beginning, the middle, and the end, and the development, and how someone had come to you to ask for feedback on a play he's making, and after it was over, it was what, midnight, and he like called out of you, another good two word, um, how to develop this whole thing. And even though it sounds like you were telling him things that weren't working, you weren't trying to fix it. And somehow he was left with hope, even though you didn't just, go la la la, it's all great, great,
Oh
great.
yeah, yeah. No, I gave a critique
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's interesting. Yeah, he still felt hopeful. And I didn't, that's good. That's a good thing because even though I do have the abilities, and some of that is in my design in other places, to see what's wrong or see what's incorrect, um, it's the motivation that's different. So
Yes.
when I
Yeah.
have a motivation to fix things, it's coming from a feeling of like, if I don't do it, something bad is going to happen, or um somebody said, because the transference is called guilt,
Right.
and so I played with that word a bunch in describing it, and I think it actually is accurate in some ways, because but somebody else said maybe it should be called responsibility, which is when you have this like feeling or obligation, those words are kind of wrapped up in it, like it's when you feel like you have to do it
Mm-hmm.
or something bad is going to happen.
The word that suits that five, which is called guilt, which, it's like, well, we don't think too highly of that word. The word I like is kuleana, which is a Hawaiian word, which means that is mine to attend to. It is my
Ah,
kuleana. Yeah.
right. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, like, yeah, and I think it's that I have no in when I'm in the hope motivation, I don't have any um attachment to the results of the thing.
Nice.
Like
That's
it's
nice. Yeah.
just coming out, and then I get to experience
There's a purity.
whatever the result is,
Yeah.
and that's possibility. It's more like the options are endless, and I get to, oh, but I can poke holes in it, or I can like examine it, but it doesn't have, yeah, it doesn't have any edge for me.
Yeah.
Whereas when I'm in the guilt thing, there's a there's a panic, and there's like a little bit of a, yeah, something,
Yeah.
yeah, if I don't do
Something's
it,
going to go wrong if I don't,
right.
rather
Yeah.
than this is mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it works with, like you said, like being called out.
Yeah.
It,
Exactly.
it definitely works better.
Uh-huh.
If I'm in,
Any two
if
thing
I'm,
is going to work better. I guess
yeah,
that's,
yeah,
yeah.
because otherwise, like if I'm in the guilt thing, I'm inserting myself sometimes,
Trying to prove
where I have
something,
no,
looking for love and identity, wanting to feel good, wanting to get attention. I'm going into all your open centers now.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, all my not self stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. I was watching a show. Have you ever seen the show Castle? It's one of those crime dramas, but it's with Nathan Fillion, who's just adorable, and this woman, Stana Katic, who's just incredibly beautiful. And she's the hard ass policewoman, and he's this kind of charming, um, fun loving writer. And they join together on these crimes, and she's the one who behaves as the five would. Like, she's got to solve this crime, right? She's serious about it, and she's going to handle all that stuff and get it done and get a result. And he comes in with all these wild theories of, well, if I were writing this in one of my crime stories, I would have that guy be the killer because it fits with the thing. And I was watching it, right? And he's funny, right? The whole thing. And I was thinking, he's the hope. He never tries to get in there and fix it. And, but he brings this uplifting quality that does help to solve the case.
Right.
But if he were suddenly trying to be the police lieutenant and she were being the ne'er-do-well, it wouldn't work at all. Yeah.
Right, right. That's a great
Yeah.
description of it.
Yeah, it's interesting how I will be watching some show and just looking at all the human design of everybody in it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, the twos are quite fascinating. When I started looking at all the different things, especially beneath the line, because there's a lot of information about profiles and lines and whatnot. And I would see all the keynotes and I would go, okay, so, I'm a one in my motivation. So I've got to get to the bottom of it. And that doesn't mean memorizing. That means getting to the bottom of it so I know it.
Investigating. Yeah, investigating it. So yeah.
And so what I would do is I would look at, well, what is a one? The one's the easiest to understand. And I would take all the keynotes from all the different areas and go, what is the essence of oneness? And again, the one, investigator, fear, survival. What are some more? Caves,
Foundation. Yeah,
foundation, yeah, appetite,
right.
one thing at a time, all of that.
Right.
So that made sense to me. And then I got to the two and I was like, well, how is markets and hermit the same thing? How is hope
Right.
and markets and hermit the same thing? And I think a lot of it boils to, with the two, it comes down to that call. Like you and I are both markets people. And to me, I go market as often as I possibly can. It's where I feel the best and all of
There's a
that.
lot of opportunities for the call.
There's a lot of opportunities for the call.
Yeah.
Like, it can be the call of that coat or that, pair of shoes. It can be the call of that color or that person. It's like I'm just, and I'm passive in that environment, as you are. So I just wander around seeing what I'm called to, but I'm actually in a hermit state until I'm called to it. I'm not going out there and making interactions happen, but if I catch someone's eye or all of this, and so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
all about being called out.
It's so true because when I
Yeah.
go out there, I'm like, when if I have it's there's two different things. Like if I have something to go do, that can be good. Like
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
focus me and I go, not because but it just starts me,
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then I call it wandering,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
become a wanderer and
yes,
people or things pull me in or
that's
not.
right.
Um,
That's exactly right.
and so and it's so magical. That's when all the magic happens.
That's
For
the
me,
magic.
it's
Yeah, yeah.
so satisfying. Nothing more satisfying than
I know.
that. So it is interesting because yeah, that hermit. So it's weird because I don't know about you, but I kind of have to be called out into the marketplace
It's
because I also have, but I also have, I'm the 6'2" as well.
right,
So I have that even more
right,
hermit, other
right.
second lines, a lot of second
That
lines.
body can just,
Yeah. And so it's can be very frustrating when I feel like I'm trapped
mhm.
at my home. And so sometimes Max calls me out into the marketplace. He's
Yeah.
like, it's so cute. He doesn't even know what he's doing sometimes, but he'll be like, I'm gonna go to the cafe to work on the thing. And I'm like, okay, I'll go with you. You know, and I
Uh-huh.
just get my stuff
Uh-huh.
together and I'm like
Uh-huh.
on the road, and then my day is set. It starts to, but I just feel um sometimes so like bound unless I'm called out. I don't know how to get out of my house. It can be very frustrating, you know.
I can relate to that, and I have also this thing where my both of my sons are in open centers, so I can feel like I'm just like nothing.
Yeah.
And here's the irony of my life, because I don't even have a home of my own. So, sometimes I'm in a home that I don't particularly want to be in, even.
Right. Even that.
It's
Yeah.
not like I can get called out to do things in my home and putter about. But here's the irony is that my mind has realized how much better we feel in the market, and it will remind me. It'll say, I think we should get dressed and go somewhere because we're getting depressed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I will eventually, when I get there, I will do that too. It will
Yeah.
come, my own mind will call me out
Uh-huh.
because it's
Uh-huh.
like, I have to get out,
Yeah. And it's one of the things that um I've really seen about the mind when it is educated, it can become an ally. I mean, it'll still go mad and run into the open centers and try and prove
Yeah.
things in my open ego, or, latch on to something to make me feel good in my open spleen and all that stuff. But it's also become an ally in reminding me who I am. And
Yeah.
that's good. It's really good. Aw, hi, kitty. Wait, where's my kitty? I'm here in the south coast of England, pet sitting this kitty.
Oh, I
Yeah,
wonder can they see each other?
I don't know if she can see anymore. This one's like 20 something years old, so I don't know if she even has the
Oh,
ability to
look,
see. That kitty is so pretty.
it's Vladimir.
Vladimir. So good.
Vlad, Vlad the Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah, that's
Oh, he
good.
doesn't usually
It's
like to
gorgeous.
be handled in this way. He's usually much more squeamish. Cute. Uh, wow.
Well, I think this is a good little video. And then,
Yeah. Is there anything else that you wanted to ask about hope or
well, one thing I just wanted to bring up, because it's so interesting to me about you, this incarnation cross of cycles. And you have such an incredible gift of helping people move through the cycle, and even and especially come to completion, which can be so hard for so many of us. And I would
Hmm,
love to somehow um, help you be available to people so that you could help them in this way, because it's really quite a gift that you have. Like, you bring the hope along with it.
yeah.
um, and so,
It's
yeah.
interesting because I just got back from spending 2 days at um with my two partners and a third partner really at this friend's home. It was his ancestral home, which he's now selling. It was his great grandmother's house. His mother grew up there. He grew up going there a lot and has spent lots of time in this little tiny house out in the middle of nowhere. It was a cotton field. Um, that's all the whole family, grew up picking cotton. White people
Wow.
in the South. And anyway, we were there. He wanted us to help move the energy so that he could be, really feel done because he was
Mm.
having a lot of resistance to getting rid of it. He kept wanting to stay there and it's not. So we did a lot of a lot of ritual and things to do that. And I find myself often, this is the end. So
Yeah.
I was assisting in this end work, in clearing and letting go, in ceremony and ritual with that. And we also we did some sex magic. We did a lot of wild stuff in there to release things. And it was very fulfilling for
Hmm.
me as well as for everyone involved. I think that we all brought our own gifts to it.
Yeah.
But it was like a 48-hour
Wow.
process. So what I find in my ability to do that, to help people come to ends, I've been with a lot of people who've died.
Mm.
Had people die in my arms more than once, more than twice. and I've always appreciated and understood birth and death really well,
Mm.
and also other things. And I've thought, various times in my life, I could be like a doula,
Yeah.
because a doula is a person who helps someone move from one
Yeah.
experience to the next. And so I think I am, but I'm not focused on any one thing. It's just whatever comes my way, that tends to bring my gifts out. If it has
Right.
to do with beginnings or middles and endings,
Right.
and developing things and helping usher something to the next incarnation, whatever that may be. I also often have helped people, find their new job or their new city or their new, just uh,
Relationship. Haven't you helped people find relationships?
definitely, yeah, I've definitely helped people find relationships. I've also helped people end relationships and yeah, shift relationships from one kind of relationship to another. Um, yeah, yeah, that all happens as well. It just happens, mostly just kind
Yeah.
of called into it. Yeah, I like to be called into that kind of thing. I love developing material. I've helped people um, turn a story into a musical, or turn a story into a play, or turn
Yeah.
a story that they have into a book. That kind of stuff is really
Yeah.
exciting for me. Um, yeah, I like uh, moving something, helping something be birthed, and then helping move it to the end,
Wow.
to completion.
Well, so all of you people out there in TV land, and I don't know why I call it that, but I do. If you
It is TV land.
It's TV land. I love TV land. All of you people out in TV land, if you want to call out Philippe to assist you and help you bring some hope to a project you have going, or you know something that you want to create or fulfill or move through or end, then if you're lucky, you'll find the way to call him out and get his assistance on that. I've done it and I've been very lucky.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I feel lucky
yeah,
to be yeah, it's so satisfying
yeah,
to be in your purpose.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Those moments when we get to really be in our what we're meant to do here.
yeah. And so much of that has to do with that outer authority, what that we can bring to other people.
Yeah, it's interesting too. I learning about the motivation as something that you actually bring to other people as well, like hope, is something that I'm not here to bring it to other people, but my presence brings it to other people. And
Yeah.
that's great. I'm
Fantastic.
I'm happy about that.
Yeah. And the other thing with you, Philippe, is that you part of your purpose is connected so directly to the quarter of civilization. So it's not just bringing hope to the person, but it's to whatever that project is, to something that's actually being created,
Right.
an actual book or a play or a musical or a relationship or a home or letting go of the home. It's like all of that,
Bringing it into
real
form in
tangible
some way.
form. Yeah,
Yeah.
bringing it into form.
Yeah.
That's,
Even it's interesting, even in the house, the things that I was most interested in the house was like going through the artifacts
yeah, yeah.
and deciding like, should these things be sold? Should these things be taken to the next, all that kind of, all the form
Right.
stuff
All the
was in
details of those forms.
that was what was most like exciting to me, and the energy that they were carrying.
Yeah. And your nodes being the 3 and the 50, which is tradition and the tradition and the new, and seeing how those lead to each other in a sense. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.